Hi, my name's Libby, and I've just finished a 2 week simulated placement where we followed the journey of 15-year-old Jared as he recovered from an acquired brain injury. I'm going to be talking to you today about some of the things I learned throughout the simulation using the OTBNZ competencies as a framework. Competency number 1 talks about being able to apply occupational knowledge, skills, and values. One skill that's incredibly important as an occupational therapist is the ability to communicate effectively. According to Arnold's and Boggs 2020, this is important as it allows the occupational therapist to build rapport, gain accurate information, and collaborate effectively with other professionals. Several communication skills highlighted by Arnold's and Boggs includes the ability to convey information accurately. This was demonstrated by Hayley when she passed on information at the MDT meeting that she'd received from the occupational therapist at ABI. Another skill that Arnold's and Boggs identify as important is the ability to communicate in a client-centered way, maximizing the chance that the client will understand. This was demonstrated by the occupational therapist at ABI by giving Jared short, simple, relevant information when he was relearning how to brush his teeth. A final communication skill I want to talk to you about today is validation. According to Linehan 2014, validation is really important as it helps the client and other clinicians know that you have heard their position, which is affirming and empowering for them. The staff at ABI demonstrated this by acknowledging the whānau's desire to have a community barbecue and working with them to make it happen. The OTs working with Jared did an amazing job, but there are a few things they could have done differently to connect more effectively with Jared. Firstly, they could have honoured Jared's Māori culture more by centering the whānau from the start. Now, obviously we didn't see everything from Jared's time at ABI, so this may actually have been done, but from the evidence we saw in the video, it could have been done more. The occupational therapist at ABI also mentioned that Jared connected more easily with young male members of staff. Because of this, they could have placed Jared with a male caseworker in our simulation rather than Hayley. One aspect of communication that I can see that I need to work on is the ability to communicate concisely. I have a really bad habit of over-explaining things, which can be frustrating and confusing for people listening. Another thing that's incredibly important as an occupational therapist is to ground your practice in current evidence-based theory. According to the Canadian Journal of Occupational Therapy 2013, this helps situate the clinician within the domain of practice, highlights the unique contributions of the profession, and helps to increase the odds of successful intervention. When working with Jared, the team at ABI used the Te Whakaoranga and the Te Whakakāwaka theories created by Dr. Hinimoa Elder. According to her 2017 paper, Te Whakakāwaka is an assessment tool which can be used to help identify the needs of the whānau, while Te Whakaoranga is a framework clinicians and whānau can use to come together, each bringing unique knowledge, skills, and feelings. We saw evidence of the team at ABI using this when the team respected Jared's brother as a critically important member of Jared's team and worked with him to equip him even further. They also used the CPPF model in their work with Jared. According to Townsend and Polatico, 2013, this is a generic framework that is used in a range of settings to help identify the client's goals and work with them to achieve it. The occupational therapist at ABI used this when she learnt that Jared and his whānau wanted to get Jared home as quickly as possible and then worked with them to help facilitate this. It's really important for an occupational therapist to respect a person's wairua and mana so a person can feel empowered to work towards re-engaging in meaningful occupations. Two ways that occupational therapists respected Jared's wairua and mana was by allowing Jared's goals to guide treatment, and by respecting Jared's wish to keep therapy light-hearted and fun. Jared's brother respected his mana by working with Jared to regain his independence. He supported Jared fully when he needed it, but he also allowed him to engage in occupations himself so he could relearn essential skills. Two physical resources that Jared used in his rehabilitation were a wheelchair at the start of his journey and later on handrails on the stairs. Competency number 2 talks about practicing appropriately for a bicultural Aotearoa. One thing a health professional can do to improve their cultural competency is to learn some basic Maori words. This is something that I actually find very challenging as I'm naturally very poor at languages, but I would love to work on this anyway. I've found that Te Kora offers free Maori language courses, and this is something I intend to pursue in the new year. According to Elder 2017, being culturally competent can help an alien environment feel safer, making the whānau more likely to share valuable information, which the clinician can then use to tailor their treatment plan. It also increases the chances that the client and their whānau will buy into, follow, and benefit from the treatment plan. Competency number 3 talks about building relationships and collaborating. Austin et al. 2008 states that working in a transdisciplinary manner means the team has access to a broad range of expertise. This allows ideas to be shaped by a number of different approaches, hopefully leading to more effective and innovative outcomes. The team at ABI demonstrated that working in a transdisciplinary manner is beneficial when they all share treatment notes, made decisions collaboratively, and met regularly to discuss Jared's treatment. During the simulated MDT, Hayley discussed how she would work with Jared. She said that her role would include liaising with the school around Jared's return to classes and educating Jared and his whānau, as well as the school around signs that Jared was becoming overly fatigued and how to manage this. The speech and language therapist said she would work with Jared on breathing exercises and conduct cognitive assessments, while the physiotherapist said she would work with Jared on his balance and coordination, as well as on his ability to perform physical and cognitive activities simultaneously. Competency number 4 talks about practicing in a safe, ethical, legal, and culturally competent way. The professionals in our simulation demonstrated this by communicating with Jared in ways that respected the cultural groups he was a part of. Jared identifies as Māori, and the clinicians respected this by using Māori words such as whānau when communicating with Jared. Jared also identifies as a teenage boy and is a part of this culture. The therapists working with Jared respected this by using humour and keeping treatment fun wherever possible. Practicing in a safe way also means that clinicians must look after their own health and well-being as well as patients. According to Oberg and Frank 2009, this is important to ensure that they have the physical energy, mental acuity, and emotional resiliency they need. I demonstrated this during the 2-week simulation by visiting a GP during the first week and taking care of my own physical health. Maintaining a client's confidentiality is an important part of practicing in an ethical way. The General Medical Council 2018 states that confidentiality is important as it gains the patient's trust, which helps them to open up to the practitioner and share relevant information. This is important to maintain successful, ongoing relationships. The professionals across the simulation maintain confidentiality by changing some of the details about Jared's treatment. They also instructed us to go into private rooms while listening to the interviews with people experiencing a chronic health condition, and by asking this person's consent before recording the interview and capturing their words permanently. Competency number 5 talks about being responsible for your profession. I have demonstrated this across the simulation by actively engaging in teaching sessions, asking questions, and sharing reflections. I also sought out additional information from readings and interviews when I felt my knowledge was lacking in a particular area. Professional presentation is also a part of being responsible for one's profession. According to Shakabib et al. 2005, this is important as it helps clients feel safe and respected, which allows trust to be built. The virtual environment presents a unique challenge to professional presentation, as the clinicians may be seeing clients virtually out of their home. Because of this, clinicians need to be mindful about what's happening in the background of their screen, seeking out areas where they can speak privately, but that do not appear overly personal. Clinicians also want to be mindful of what they are wearing. Context does determine what is professional and what isn't, though. If you're an OT working in a school, it might be entirely appropriate to wear a costume on book day. However, if you're working with a client to help them return to work and you're going into a top law firm, you probably don't want to go dressed as a bunny rabbit. The clinicians we encountered across the placement were all alone in private areas that weren't overly personal, such as home offices. They were all dressed appropriately, wearing smart, casual clothes or uniforms. Engaging in regular supervision is another way occupational therapists can be responsible for their profession. According to the OTBNZ website, supervision sessions are important as they help develop self-awareness. This helps to ensure the clinician is practicing safely. They also help to develop practitioners' clinical skills, which means they have more strategies they can use to help their clients. Supervision also creates space where clinicians can receive feedback, developing their ideas and advancing the field of occupational therapy. Thank you so much for listening to me today. Have a great day.